We welcome in Christian Yelich, runner-up MVP last year. He was the MVP the year before. And Christian, thanks for being with us. I know you're excited to play. Want to get your reaction. Mike Trout and some other players said that they're still hesitant about going out and playing for health and safety reasons. A little bit uncomfortable, I guess. How comfortable are you?
I'm obviously in a little bit of a different situation than them. I'm a single guy. I don't have a pregnant wife at home or anybody around that's really uh, at risk with underlying health issues and that whole thing. And basically, what you're going to see is guys that feel different about this, than others, or they're in different situations than other people. And I totally understand where they're coming from. And if they do choose not to play, fully supportive of that and completely understand.
Christian, Frank Thomas here. Where's the swing? Where are you at right now? Have you been able to, in California, keep the swing together, keep the glove together, the arm, everything else? With this,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as best you can. It is obviously way different than anything we've ever really had to deal with. The stop and go of spring training and not really knowing if we were actually going to play, and we were trying to stay in shape just in case. And now that we're out here, I guess we got 3 weeks to get it rolling and see where we're at. Honestly, I don't know where everything's at. I felt pretty good when I was doing my work, but like you said, the first time you're seeing 98, 100 again, I definitely haven't stepped in against that here in a few months. So that'll be interesting, and we're just gonna do the best we can.
Yeli, hey bro, it's your man Swish. How you doing today, bro?
All good, man. How are you?
All right, I'm doing great. I think just from one baseball guy, Frank, to you, just how excited are you to get back on the field? I know last year was a bummer with the injury, but now seems like you're healthy. How excited are you to get back on the field playing the game that you love?
It's gonna be good to be back out there. It's gonna be under different circumstances than we're used to, but I think all of us are excited to get it going and make the most of it. 60-game season's different than 162, but I think at this point everyone's just excited to play baseball and see what happens.
Yeah. Have you thought, Christian, about how it might be in an empty stadium? I know you practice sometimes in that environment, but playing an actual game where you have to kind of create your own energy as a team or as a player, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, you feed off the crowd as a player. I mean, those days where you're not feeling it or you're tired, you got to get through the day. Once you get out there and see the crowd, you really just get going. And I like going into visiting stadiums where it's a hostile environment, and love playing in front of the home crowd in Miller Park, and just that atmosphere is going to be completely different and something that none of us have been used to or have done before. But I think the fact that we just get to play is awesome, and we'll just make the most of it. There's nothing we can do about it, and we can do our part in playing the game. And it's something that I think we're going to look back on and just be like, hey, remember when we were playing in front of, like, you were playing Major League Baseball game in front of nobody, and people are watching on TV, but I was telling guys, it's going to feel like when you were in high school again, you played in the major league stadiums, but like in a showcase. And
and there's like three people there.
Yeah, there's a couple scouts and maybe some people's parents and all that. But then you were just stoked to play in a major league stadium. So maybe some of that same feeling will be back. You're just excited to play. So we'll see how it goes.
Christian, you guys have been lights out the last 2 years. How are you feeling about the team now? You lost a couple key players. Do you think the same energy is going to be inside that locker room? Do you feel like you're going to have to carry the torch a little bit more? And that's hard to do because you could have won back-to-back MVPs. I mean, how are you feeling about that with all the changes with this organization?
I like our team. We got a lot of talented players. I think a lot of young guys that are going to take a big step from what we could have seen when we had those, whatever it was, 3-4 weeks of spring training before everything got put on hold. But I think a really big factor of this season is going to just be health. Like if you can lose anybody at any time for 3-4 weeks, or anybody that goes down with the virus. So I think the teams that stay the healthiest take it upon themselves to take all the precautions and make sure that they're doing everything they can to stay healthy is going to be a really big factor in the season. Because if you lose 3, 4, 5 of your top guys, then it's a completely different team, and that's something that you don't really have to deal with in a regular season. Losing a few guys for a few weeks at literally any time just because of a positive test. And we'll just have to work our way through it.
Yeli, talk to me about the 60-game sprint. for the first time in your major league career, you can honestly say, instead of a marathon, it is a flat out sprint. What is the pressure to get off to a hot start individually and as well as the team? Because if you start off 2-10, it could be the end of the season.
Yeah, that's definitely a factor, and you're going to see really good players that probably don't have great years, and good teams that don't have good years, just for the fact that you don't get the 162 games for everything to, as they like to say in baseball, even out. But it is a sprint and it isn't, because 60 games it's almost the second half of the season, which isn't really a sprint. I mean, compared to 162 it is, but it's still a decent amount of baseball if you think about it, especially in whatever it is, 65, 66 days.
Right.
So it's a sprint, but it isn't. But you definitely don't have the room for error that you usually do during a season, where if you take a 0 for 20 right out the chute, or you're a team that goes 1
year,
yeah, if you're a team that goes 1-10, you don't really, you usually like, hey, don't hit the panic button. You go through these stretches. We'll go 10-1 at some point, but this year it's like, well, man, you got to be ready to roll right out the gate. And I really think it's going to lend itself to exciting division races and playoff races, because everybody's going to be in it, because nobody really has that opportunity to pull away from the pack unless you rattle off a 20-2 stretch or something crazy like that. But the uniqueness of the season is going to be very interesting, and I'm looking forward to it.
For the best